Welcome back to Movie Plot Recapped. King Game is a high school story where all the students participate in a some death game. They must follow an order every day, and if they do not, they will suffer consequences worse than passing. The story begins and we notice two students, Nobu and Shiami. They study together now and are good friends since childhood. One day they receive a message that their whole class is chosen for a death game. The rules of the class were that they have to play this game and no one can leave in between. On daily basis, they'll receive a task or order on their mobile phone that they have to follow within 24 hours. Whoever will not follow the order within 24 hours will be punished severely. The first task was for roll number 8, that boy has to propose to the girl who was his crush. The next day, Nobu and Shiami meet their third friend. He tells them that he has received the same message. Actually, the whole class receives the message. Now they force the boy to go to that girl. Later on, he goes to his crush but she rejects him. Afterward, they all receive the message that the order is completed. They consider it a prank by their friend and don't take it seriously. The second order was for roll number 4 and the most popular girl in the class. The next day, the monitor asks them that who is pranking this all. She doesn't have any problem not to fulfill the order. She herself goes to that boy and fulfills the order, and again they receive the message for the completion of the order. In the evening, they receive their third order. The next day the boy was excited to fulfill his order. But he comes to know that the girl with whom he has to complete his order didn't come. At night, they receive the message of the king that the girl and the boy haven't followed their order, so they'll be erased. We notice that from the picture in the room of Shiami, both were erased from that. Now they receive their fourth order. That two students have to live together for a whole to spend the time. The next day, all of them notice the bench of those students were erased who haven't followed the order. Along with, the numbers of both were also deleted from the mobiles of everyone. Even their record was erased from the school. Greater than all were shocked. Meanwhile, the monitor asks about that girl from the teacher and she answers that there is no student of this name in class. After the class, they call to her parents. They deny that they have any daughter of this name. Now they realize that this isn't a joke, but they are actually erased from the world. Even they weren't remembered by anyone except the participants. Listening to this, both next participants were afraid and they complete their task to save their life. The fifth order was for a student who has to be the king for one day. He can command any order and the next day he kills his friend. He orders the second friend to kill him. Later on, his friend has a heart attack and he dies in front of his teachers. After his death, teachers start to walk normally as it happened nothing. After a while, they receive the message of completion of the task. Later on, the bench of that boy disappears. Now, all think that what they need to do next. Some of them suggest reporting to the police, but no one would believe their story. Nobu states to all that whoever is the king wants to us quarrel. On the next order, they'll find a solution together. Now few of the students talk and one of their friends tells them that this game is a curse. The king messages us is among us. They don't know anything about this. Now they receive their next order, the sixth order, in which competition of vote between two students will be, and whoever will receive less vote will be killed. Whoever will not cast a vote will die too. The next day Nobu suggests that there are 28 students. If they cast a half vote to them, the match will be a tie. Probably no one would die. Now they all agree and do the same. At the time of counting, they notice that someone has cheated. One student has an extra vote. Knowing this, the second student scares that she receives less vote and jumps from the window. She dies and they receive a message that she has deliberately gives her life, so the task isn't completed. In her replacement, another girl was assigned and she at once confesses that she is the girl who cast one vote extra because she doesn't like her. She leaves and they receive a message that she has lied, so she will be punished. She erases that she becomes disappeared. Now everyone considers Nobu responsible for this because instead of 1, 2 lives die. After school, Shiami meets her friend who tells her that these games have been played before. There were a few incidents in which the whole class was erased. She shows a picture in which she shows a boy who looks like Nobu. Greater than she shows her more pictures and tells her from whatever the class students were missing, Nobu was there. But Shiami doesn't believe this, says that she knows him since childhood. She further tells her that probably king erases the memories and your memories might be a lie, that you know him since childhood. Her friend suspects that Nobu is the king. They receive their seventh order, in which all the students have to put all the pencils into a box and have to hold that, and whoever will hold lastly would die. Now the last student left who notices 3 pencils in the box and he thinks if he holds 2 pencils and 1 would be left. If Nobu holds that 1 he would die. He states that because of him already 2 students died, now he'll do this to have an act of revenge on him. When Nobu goes near the box, he notices that his friend has already taken the 3 pencils. He breaks the rule of the game and says that when her friend jumped, he couldn't do anything. But he wants him to beat this game. He says this and he was erased. After the class, a girl tells them that she has found a solution to eradicate them from this game. After their class, Nobu goes to Shiami's house and she shows a picture of her mother's hometown. But the strange thing was that all the pictures were empty, and later on, they receive numerous messages. They know that 17 students have broken the rules and that's why they are erasing. Later on, Nobu calls his friend. He knows that her friend suggests blocking the number of king if they will not receive any message and they will not be in game anymore. They break the rule of the game because the first rule of the game was not to quit this game. That's why 17 students were erased. Now there were only 8 students left and they assign their next task. The monitor of their class has to send a death message to her 2 class fellows to whom she will message would die. The next day, there were a few students in their class and their teacher teaches them and goes. Today one of the students yells at her teacher that daily their fellows are erasing. Can you see this? But the teacher thinks her ill and asks Shiami to take her to the nurse's office. She goes into the washroom and cuts her hands because it was her task to kill 2 of her mates. But she doesn't want this. That's why she cuts her hand. Watching the blood, Shiami comes in, but she was erased. Watching this, Shiami faints. Later on, they receive a message that this task isn't completed. So, the task was given to Nobu. Nobu has to kill 3 mates instead of 2. Now the classmates of Nobu tell him that they know how to tackle this game, but they have to go to a town nearby. Nobu goes with them and his classmates tell him that many incidents happened in the past in which the whole class was erased. The first incident happened in the same town. At that time there were no cell phones and the king sent orders through letters. Now they are going to the same town to collect evidence. The friend of Shiami tells that the next order is given to Nobu. If he couldn't kill his 3 classmates, he will be killed. Now the friend of Shiami tells her friend that Nobu has gone to the place where the first king game was played. She thinks that they have taken him for another purpose. Nobu finds many pictures and letters and his classmate hits him and he faints. When he wakes up, his hands were tied and the 3 classmates were standing in front of him. Because they have seen those pictures in which the boy like Nobu was there. They think that Nobu is the king. They will win the game to kill him. Actually, they come here to kill Nobu. Now they know one thing more, that whoever was erased in the game, no one knows about them. Then how do they all the students erase? This is also a conspiracy of the king, that he wants them to think Nobu a king and they kill them. Later on, the friend of Nobu calls him, but his fellows cut the call and throw his phone. Greater than Nobu's friend starts to do something on the computers nearby. The 3 fellows were about to kill Nobu. Suddenly, the 3 fellows disappear and Nobu opens himself and attends the call. He receives a message of completion of the task. Actually, his friend opens his id and send death message to the 3 mates. That's why they disappeared and Nobu escaped. Here Nobu finds some old pictures and becomes shocked because the task of Nobu was completed by his friend. Nobu would be punished for cheating. His friend will be erased. Nobu calls his friend and his friend erased while calling. Later on, Nobu goes to Shiami's house, but she was not at her house. Shiami's friend tells him that she is aware now that the curse is not on anyone else but on King. King whenever goes into a class and a new death game starts there and he has to suffer. Shiami receives the call of Nobu, who calls her in the classroom. Now the friend of Shiami was erased without any mistake because she knows the reality of the king. Nobu probably solves the riddle of this game. Now he tells Shiami that this game was first played in a school where all the students were erased except a girl, and Nobu shows an old picture to Shiami. In that picture, Shiami was there, who was the winner of the king's game. After winning the game, she was going to be the next king. She rejects and she was given a curse that she will be stuck in a death game forever and her age will not grow. After every win, her memory will be erased. Nobu says that he will end this game here so no one else has to play this game. Nobu runs after Shiami to kill her. Before killing, he asks was the childhood memories were fake. Shiami pulls him and holds his scissor and kills him. Now the memories of Nobu erase completely. His family too forgets that they have a son named Nobu. This game was once again won by Shiami. She receives a message that she is a winner and her curse will be continued. She too wants to stop this all. She jumps from the window and kills herself. After 6 months, we watch a school where a new girl introduces herself. Along with her, Shiami sits. Her memory was once again erased. Now the next King game will be played with this class. The story ends here.